Joona Vaisanen, the Penguins' secret weapon, top 25 under 25. Meet the underdog defenseman quietly becoming Pittsburgh's most intriguing prospect, and why his rise should have every Penguins fan leaning forward. At number 19 in our Pennsburgh Top 25 Under 25 series, Joona Vaisanen isn't just a late-round steal. He's living proof that hockey IQ can outshine draft day snubs. But here's where it gets controversial. Can a player without elite physical tools thrive in today's NHL? Let's unpack why Pittsburgh's front office is betting big on this cerebral blue liner. Our 2025 prospect deep dive continues with the fresh-faced national champion who's redefining what it means to be a sixth-round pick. Before we zoom in on Vaisanen, catch up on this year's rankings so far. Previous entries, graduates, departed players, https www.pennsburgh.com/2447260, pennsburgh.com/2447260, best of the rest, https://www.pennsburgh.com/2447465/top 25 under 25 best of rest Penguins top prospects, Charlie Trethewey, Daniel Latch, Ryan Miller. Number 25 Quinn Bochans through number 20 Sam Poulin, links included in original. 19 Joona Vaisanen, right-handed defenseman, 2024 ranking, number 18, https www.pennsburgh.com/244-814-2241-8687. Draft details 2024 NHL Draft, Round 6, Pick 175. Build 6'0", 176 pounds, lean but deceptively sturdy. Why Pittsburgh's scouting team is high-fiving over this late-blooming talent. The brain behind the brawn, Vaisanen represents the Penguins' growing fascination with hockey savant. After being ignored in 2023, his 2023-24 USHL performance convinced Pittsburgh to gamble a sixth-round pick. The payoff? A championship-winning 2024-25 NCAA campaign at Western Michigan, where he averaged 20 minutes per game as a top-pair defender, including a season-defining overtime goal. Assistant GM Jason Spezza laid bare the organization's philosophy in a pre-Frozen 4 interview. https://www.nytimes.com/athletic/6249867/2025/0409 Penguins prospect Joona Vaisanen. That's not coachable. That's instinct. That's instinct, but here's the twist most analysts miss about his IQ for the Frozen 4 interview. Beneath Vaisanen's calm exterior burns a relentless competitor. Spezza describes him as a wolf in sheep's equipment, a player who dominates through meticulous positioning and clutch plays rather than big hits. This quiet intensity earned him a development camp captaincy this summer, where Director of Player Development Tom Kostopoulos noted, https://www.pennsburgh.com/2025-7244637 Penguins Development Camp wraps up. He didn't just show up. He rewrote the playbook. When the game was on the line, our sixth-rounder played like a first-round talent. Road ahead. As Vaisanen prepares for his 2025-26 NCAA season, the challenge shifts from proving doubters wrong to exceeding his own high standards. In a candid Tribune Review interview, https://triblive.com/sports Penguins prospect Joona Vaisanen looks to build on championship season. He outlined his blueprint. I'm attacking this summer like it's Game 7. More muscle mass means winning more board battles. Better footwork means shutting down faster forwards. The great debate. Let's address the elephant in the rink. At 176 pounds with unspectacular puck skills, can Vaisanen truly become an NHL regular? The Penguins development team argues yes. His anticipation neutralizes bigger opponents, and his championship pedigree suggests intangible leadership qualities. But critics counter that without elite physical traits, his ceiling might be limited. So we turn to you, Pens Nation. Is Vaisanen the next Brian Dumoulin-style hidden gem, or a classic tweener, destined for AHL duty? Sound off in the comments, and don't forget to debate whether Pittsburgh's draft the brain strategy is genius or gambling with late-round picks. One final thought to chew on. From undrafted teen to Frozen 4 hero in 24 months, Vaisanen's trajectory mirrors the Penguins' own rebuild, unassuming at first glance. But whatever happens next, this much is clear. In the analytics era, Joona Vaisanen is the ultimate test case for whether hockey sense can outweigh raw athleticism. Avery Hayes, rising star in the Penguins' prospect pool. Sometimes, the most compelling stories in sports belong to the players nobody seemed to want. This is the essence of Avery Hayes, a forward who has clawed his way from being an undrafted afterthought to landing at number 18 on our top 25 under 25 countdown. While his newly drafted brother, Travis, made his debut on this list just a few spots ago, it's now time to focus on the older Hayes sibling, whose remark. Sam Poulin, the rise and challenges of a fallen first-round pick. Here's a harsh reality that most hockey fans refuse to acknowledge. Sometimes first-round draft picks simply don't pan out, no matter how much potential they once showed. Sam Poulin's story is about to become another cautionary tale that will make you question everything you think you know about player development. Our 2025 Pennsburg Top 25 Under 25 rankings continue their countdown. And this time, we're examining a player whose dramatic fall from grace tells a story that's both heartbreaking and frustratingly familiar. But here's where it gets controversial. Should we have seen this coming years ago? For those just joining our comprehensive prospect evaluation series, you can explore our previous rankings, including the graduates and departed players, plus our detailed breakdowns of Quinn Beauchene at number 25, Cruz Lucius at number 24, Travis Hayes at number 23, Brady Peddle at number 22, and Finn Harding at number 21. Position 20, Sam Poulin, left wing. Previous 2024 ranking, 8th position. Current age, 24 years old, born February 25, 2001. Draft history, selected by Pittsburgh in the 2019 NHL Entry Draft, first round, 21st overall pick. Physical stats, 6'1", 213 pounds. Let's start with what appears to be positive news on the surface. Poulin achieved personal career milestones last season, recording 19 goals, 24 assists, and 43 total points. But here's the part most people miss. These impressive numbers came exclusively in the American Hockey League, not the NHL, where it truly matters for a former first-round selection. Poulin's NHL experience remained frustratingly limited, appearing in just 7 games during the 2024 season. 6 of those appearances came in a concentrated burst between November 13th and 23rd. The results? Disappointingly mediocre. He managed only 2 shots on goal, both missing the net, contributed a single assist, averaged roughly 10 minutes of ice time per game, and found himself back in the minors until the season's final contest. Now here's where the situation becomes genuinely concerning. Due to his age, this marks Poulin's final appearance in our under 25 rankings, and frankly, this farewell might be arriving 1 year too late. The harsh reality hit in October 2024, when Poulin cleared waivers without a single NHL team claiming him, a telling sign of his current market value. The upcoming training camp presents an even more daunting challenge. Pittsburgh has added forwards Anthony Mantha and Justin Brazeau, while maintaining an already crowded roster featuring bottom 6 options like Kevin Hayes, Blake Lizotte, Noel Acciari, Danton Heinen, Phil Tomasino, and Connor Dewar. Poulin faces the very real possibility of hitting the waiver wire again, becoming a casualty of roster numbers and, more critically, stagnant development that has plateaued over recent seasons. But here's where it gets controversial. Were the circumstances beyond Poulin's control, or should he have overcome these obstacles like other successful prospects do? Multiple factors created what might be described as a perfect storm working against Poulin's development. The global pandemic disrupted crucial formative years immediately following his draft selection. Recent seasons brought injuries and a mental health absence that required attention and time away from hockey. These are legitimate, significant challenges that deserve recognition and understanding. However, deeper issues existed that predate these external factors. Skating ability and game pace raised red flags during the pre-draft evaluation process, and Poulin never elevated these fundamental skills to NHL standards. This limitation ultimately capped his effectiveness at hockey's highest level. The gap between being an excellent player and being elite enough for the NHL represents an incredibly narrow margin that separates professional careers from unfulfilled potential. Credit where it's due, Poulin worked diligently and developed into a quality AHL performer over recent seasons. The problem lies in that razor-thin distinction between being very good versus being absolutely elite at the sport's pinnacle level. This microscopic difference determines who succeeds in the NHL and who remains in the developmental leagues. Trend analysis suggests this outcome has been building for quite some time, which explains his dramatic tumble down our rankings. Poulin maintains organizational value as an injury call-up option, but his ceiling appears limited to being a reliable AHL contributor and occasional NHL fill-in, rather than an impactful regular roster player. Adding urgency to his situation, Poulin approaches Group 6 unrestricted free agent status, unless he plays 67 NHL regular season games this season. His tenure with Pittsburgh could conclude within the next 10 months through various scenarios, including waiver claims, trades, or free agency departure. This trajectory unfortunately represents a common endpoint for middle to late first-round selections. Initial promise gives way to reality, as players selected in this range carry no guarantee of significant NHL impact. Poulin's case held added significance since he represented one of the few first-round picks Pittsburgh retained during the 2015 to 2023 period. The organization desperately needed young talent infusion through the 2019 draft, but this investment failed to materialize as hoped. And this is the part most people miss. There's actually an ironic twist to this story that might make you question the entire draft process. Phil Tomasino, a player Pittsburgh could have selected instead of Poulin, was recently acquired by the Penguins for merely a fourth-round pick. In roughly half a season, Tomasino scored 11 goals for Pittsburgh, nearly matching Poulin's career NHL games played total of 13. This provides some salvage value from the 2019 draft class, albeit through an unexpected route. Looking ahead, Poulin faces intense competition during training camp to maintain NHL relevance this season. Philip Hallander, Boko Imama, and Joona Vaisanen will compete for limited bottom-line wing positions along the NHL-AHL borderline where Poulin now fits. Expecting him to transcend these limitations and force his way into a more substantial NHL role after years of stagnation would be genuinely surprising. But here's my controversial take that might spark some heated debate. Should organizations be more willing to admit mistakes earlier with first-round picks, instead of holding on to hope for years? Are we doing these players a disservice by not being more honest about their NHL ceiling sooner? What do you think? Is Poulin a victim of unfortunate circumstances who deserves more time? Or is this simply the natural conclusion of a prospect who never had the tools for NHL success? Should Pittsburgh have moved on from him earlier? Or is patience with first-round investments always the right approach? Let me know in the comments. I have a feeling this one might divide opinions pretty sharply.